A very good evening to you. Thanks for joining us on the Thursday edition of the show. I'm Yemi Adebayo. A lot to talk about on the show tonight, and we'll do justice to everything happening in your fast-paced, money-spinning world of sports. As usual, I'm not alone. I do this with my partner, my colleague, Austin Okon-Akpan, and usually we'll take you on a trip across the money-spinning world of sports. Well, getting set to bring Austin in. Of course, UEFA Nations League matches currently going on as we speak. We will talk about all of that for you as we go on. We will also talk about the big one. It's going to happen tomorrow. The farewell for Swiss maestro Roger Federer. Talking about the Lever Cup. It's going to happen tomorrow. We'll also talk about that for you. We'll talk about what's going on in the camp of the Super Eagles. We'll give you the news, and hopefully we'll have a beautiful conversation around the Super Eagles and the upcoming game between the Super Eagles of Nigeria and the Desert Foxes of Algeria. All right, so let's move on the show, and I'll bring in my partner, Austin, who, by the way, is ready to go. Greetings to you, Austin. Always good to do this with you.
For the great things, Yemi, good to be on the show. Shout out to everyone joining us to talk sports. So much going down in our beautiful world of sports. Yemi, I cannot wait to see what Nigeria's representatives on the continent will do when they, play the next phase of matches in the CAF Champions League and the CAF Confederations Cup. You mentioned the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Loads of talking points from that one. Algeria didn't qualify for the World Cup. Nigeria didn't qualify for the World Cup. Does it mean this friendly game has no importance? Also, Peseiro has been talking about the objectives of the game. Sadly, Wilfred Ndidi, who is just getting back into the team, has been, ruled out due to injury. When we get into the conversation proper, I'm sure we will dissect and give our viewers a sort of analysis that will keep them informed about our friendly match here, me.
And like I said in my opening, we hope to have a robust discussion. We're hoping that a couple of guys will join us. I don't want to let the cat out of the bag just yet. When we have them, we'll bring them in. But just let our viewers know that we intend to spend a lot of time around that game, Nigeria, Algeria. And you've talked about it. How important is this game? Nigeria is not going to be at the World Cup. Algeria is not going to be at the World Cup. What is the significance of the game? What do we hope to get out of this game? And hopefully, I'm very sure football fans across the globe will want to see if we know what we're doing at this point, because there has to be that showing that, look, we didn't qualify for the World Cup, but we're picking the pieces and we're going in the right direction. All right, so let's just go straight away into the preview, Austin. And before we give some tidbits and information to our viewers, let's just do this ourselves before bringing the guys in. What are your expectations? I've been asking people, what are your expectations? Can we say now that Peseiro has his handprint on the Super Eagles at this point?
No, we can't hear me. It's still a new manager, and then he came to meet a house that was scattered, he came to meet a team that were so burned, and deflated after failing to qualify for the Qatar 2022 World Cup. So, Yemi, remember how he started like a motivational speaker, reminding us that he's yet to play a father figure because he knows these players are still hurting from not qualifying for the World Cup. So, he's still trying to get into it. There are some players that he has not even seen, the likes of Kevin Akpoguma. I told you that I'd like to see what he can bring to the team. Terry Murphy, Cyril Dessas, even to an extent, Taiwa Oni. Some of these guys, Peseiro, is just getting to meet them. So I know one thing he cannot say to Nigeria that they will listen is that he's building a team. Nobody wants to hear about building a team anymore. Some of these guys have been in this team long enough to, give the sort of cohesion that we want to see in the Super Eagles, give the sort of dominant play that we expect to see. And so we'll always have expectations because now they need to keep singing the redemption song. The fans are hurting. The fans feel so bad that they didn't qualify for the World Cup. So when they step out against Algeria, and now this is not a European team or one team that you expect the odds not to favor the Super Eagles. They must prove that they are picking themselves back up. They must show intent. They must show hunger. They must show that sense of, we're sorry we missed out of the World Cup, but this is us picking ourselves back up. So there's so much to look forward to in this game. For analysts like you and I, we definitely want to see things that will get us talking about this team in a positive way. And if we don't see, give, our sound criticism so that the NFF, Jose Peseiro and the players themselves will understand that they need to get up and do the right things. Yeah, I mean,
usually under a new manager, there's an attitude change first few games, and once the players feel or discover that everything is same old, they return back to what they've been doing in times past. Do you see something like that happening, or the sort of attitudinal change that we thought we saw in the first few matches, do you think that will continue?
Complete change in attitude. I mean, I mentioned some of the things. I remember right after they lost that World Cup ticket to Ghana, if you can remember, we had George Abbey, former Super Eagles player, on the show. And he said the same thing, that a lot of things need to change. And then it starts with their mindset, And sometimes when you don't win, it should spur you to be better. It should remind you that you're just a step away from success, So attitudinal change would definitely help this Super Eagles team, because I'm sure a lot of people, particularly fans of the Super Eagles, didn't like the way they approached, those World Cup qualifiers. In fact, right from the World Cup and the NFF, to an extent, they have their own fault. Letting go of Gernot Rohr at a time a lot of persons considered was wrong timing. Getting to the AFCON the way we did, and then preparing for the World Cup. People still believe that some things should have been done better, like the choice of venue for the match. All of those things, is part of the behavioral and attitudinal changes that we need to see now in the team. And it goes beyond just bringing a new technical manager, Algeria, too, they are doing the same thing. So going into this game, it is a matter of both sides that are wounded. I believe that they are big enough to represent Africa at the World Cup. So they must start exhibiting those changes that can, make people now say they've learned from their lessons.
All right, while we wait for the other guys to join in, let's talk about something you touched on. You touched on while you were speaking. Wilfred Ndidi not going to be playing because it's been discovered that he is injured. And you talk about some guys that the coach has not been able to work with. They're part of the squad, but this manager has not been, like Maduka Okoye, Wilfred Ndidi, some of these guys who you could say are regulars. So would that affect his planning going forward? Because the next opportunity the manager has to work with somebody like Wilfred Ndidi, who is an integral member of this squad, will be in November, not this window again. So do you think that will affect plans going forward?
It shouldn't. It's got a lot of professionals, that can fill in, for Wilfred Ndidi. When Wilfred was missing from the World Cup qualifiers, we said it clearly that it was definitely going to be missed. But we played the World Cup qualifiers. This is the Super Eagles of Nigeria. And that's the sort of work we expect Jose Peseiro to do. Build a team, not around one or two or three individuals, so that when somebody is injured or missing, we start getting worried. Build a formidable team. I'm sure if we talk about the darling class of 94 now, before I could say 1 to 3, you call me about 7 players that were integral to the team. And that's team sport for you. Everybody must bring in something. Wilfred Ndidi is injured now. Does it mean Super Eagles will not play? He needs to work with the resources that he's got. And I think he's got enough options to work. It's just finding the right tactics, finding the right approach, particularly the sort of mentality that these players need to get along, play as a team. The good thing is most of them are doing so well in their clubs. Alex Iwobi, for instance, is playing fantastic football with Everton, Kenneth Omero is playing consistent football, and some of the guys also in the team. Taiwo Awoni just came off scoring a goal last week. So he has enough option to build a team. Now that you're bringing in new persons, you must have a valid reason why you're bringing them, and you need to play them to see where they fit in a team. Because now, as I said, the Super Eagles, they seem scattered, So people are trying to see how he's going to put together this jigsaw puzzle and give us a darling team that can be feared, respected, and dominant, not just in Africa, but the world, because we've got quality players. So no indeed, no problem, because this is the Super Eagles of Nigeria.
Yeah, and I mean, while we're talking about it, let's spare a thought for the Algerians. Do you think we're in the same situation? They didn't qualify for the World Cup. It was a dismal outing at the Nations Cup for the Algerians as well. So, who do you think will want this more in terms of going ahead to win this friendly and probably taking off a little bit of pressure off their backs? I'm very sure the fans in Algeria too probably will not be happy with their team. They had similar circumstances with us, issues with the coach and all that. I mean, it looks like two teams with the same problems. And so, who do you think will want this more? The fact that we're playing at the home ground of the Algerians, would that be an advantage? But then again, it's just a friendly. So, who do you think will two teams with similar situations? But definitely, at the end of the day, one of the teams will surely want to win.
Yeah, I think there's more pressure on the Desert Foxes, because one, they're playing at home. Two, they're still trying to heal from missing out. In fact, they were abysmal at the AFCON, remember, Yemi? Mm-hmm. And then they missed out of the World Cup, and there's been some major shakeups, not just in the technical crew, but also in the country's football administration. So yes, for them, playing Nigeria will give them the opportunity to tick the right boxes if they're on a path of recovery. But one thing is certain, Algeria under pressure, Nigeria under pressure, because both sides believe that they've got the quality, to be at the World Cup. But I think it's more on the Algerian side, because it's just 2019, they were African champions. So you start wondering how they went up there to where they are at the moment, and that's football for you. The moment you miss out of that winning formula, you struggle by the time you start dropping. And I think that's where Algeria, they found themselves. They've got quality players. They've got probably the entire support of the nation that they needed. They also have good administration in place until they gave us what they gave us at the AFCON, and then failed to qualify for the World Cup also. So they have more pressure on Algeria, but I don't think that's what Nigeria should take into the match. Get into the match and with proper objectives, have a statement of purpose. This is what we want to achieve with this game. Even if it doesn't go in your favor, at the end of the match, come back and say, yes, we achieved A, B, and C, and if we play the next friendly, we'll achieve D, E, F till we get our complete objectives.
All right, that's a good plan. All right, let's not do this alone. Let's bring somebody who does this for a living, football player and match analyst, Tofe Tobola, joins us now. And of course, Tofe, greetings to you. Thanks for finding out time to be with us on the show. Let's talk about the Super Eagles of Nigeria ahead of that friendly against Algeria. Let me ask you what your expectations will be from that friendly.
Yeah, hi guys. It's nice to be back to the studio. I expect that both teams are going to be really wanting to win the match because, as you know, both teams haven't qualified for the World Cup. So I think there's a point to prove on both nations.
Okay. All right. So, like they say, let me ask you, this is word on the street. Where do you stand? Do you believe we're still building a team, or you believe we already have a team?
Individually, we know we have talents all around the pitch, but I think as a team, I think we're lost at the moment. We don't know what we're doing. We have an election coming up as well. There might be a change of, coach, possibly, when the new management comes. So it's a lot of instability right now. So I think we can't clearly see where we're going. We won the last game 10-0, and we might win the next couple of games, but I think there's no clear path for the Super Eagles right now.
Okay, let me hand you over to us, who probably has a tune or two to say. I'll sit back and enjoy the conversation.
Tofe, good to have you on the show. Tofe, it's Nigeria against Algeria. You mentioned that both sides didn't make it to the World Cup. So does it mean this friendly is one that we shouldn't just, give enough attention?
Oh no, any Nigerian match, any Nigerian A match, obviously is always like very important. Maybe come before the match, people are gonna say that they don't care about it, but when the match is going on, everyone's gonna be trying to see what's going on and try to see the players. We have a lot of exciting players coming in as well. Murphy's on form; he scored like 6 goals in the league for the Ligue 1 this season. So I think it's a big match. We have a point to prove, and for the coach as well, he has to show that he can manage every situation match by match. So I think it's very important that we try to win both games, even if we're playing against one of the big teams of the country.
I'm sure you've seen some of the players Jose Peseiro invited. I was saying on the show last week that if you bring in some names that you've not worked with before, you should be ready to make use of them so that match analysts such as Tofek can have something to say about them. I'm looking forward to seeing Kevin Akuguma. I'm looking forward to seeing Terry Murphy. I'm also looking forward to seeing, to an extent, Taiwo Awoniyi because of some of the qualities that he has shown. Tell me some of those players you'd like to see that are invited for this friendly match.
It's a good situation. We have a lot of young players in the team as well. When I say young, I mean that come from our youth team. I'll be excited to see Xavier Godwin. He's been from the youth team. He's been coming from the under-17s to the under-20s up to the under-23s. He missed out on the Olympics, but he's found his way back to the Portuguese Premier Division. And he has a good relationship with Taiwo Awoniyi. So I imagine the coach might not know about that, but if he makes his research, he'll find out that some players have played together at youth level before. So that combination could be very good. And Murphy also, we've not seen him fully with the Super Eagles yet. He's scored a lot of goals in the League One, so I expect him to do something. And the other kid, Onyedika, that is playing in Club Brugge, he's showing how powerful he is. He's played Champions League matches this season. So I think we're going to miss Ndidi again, but I think there's players coming through.
Sounds good. Let me just bring in Wilfred Ndidi properly. He was injured, was missing for the game against Ghana for the World Cup qualifiers. Football fans were excited that he's going to be back for this friendly. Now he's injured. Do you think that will, in a way, affect the approach Jose Peseiro wants to give to this friendly match?
Not really, no. It's just a friendly match anyway. I'm sure the coach would have just been happy to have a world-class player like Ndidi, in his ranks. And unfortunately, he's gone down with some injury. And I'm sure that he's going to be back soon. I think for that position, the coach is not worried. I mean, when the big matches come, he's obviously a direct starter in the team and one of the first people to start on the team anyway. I think the coach is more worried about maybe his defense because there's going to be a lot of changes. The guys that we have now, over the next couple of years, they're going to start getting a lot older. And he needs to know how to balance the defense to understand what's his first choice central back pairing. When you talk about Bassi, for example, he's playing left centre back, and he's been playing that very well, at his club. So it's difficult now, and it's a big conundrum of how to who's the number 5 and 6, and do we use the old guard or do we go with the young guys? When I say old guard, they're not too old, you know what I mean. But we have to make sure we have a good transition. So when the other guys retire, we don't have a problem.
Yeah. Yemi, I know you want to get into it, but let's listen to Jose Peseiro. He's commenting. Then when we come back, we'll get Tofek to, react to whatever I talked about. We'll be right back.
I feel good, of course, and I can do a camping or can do something for improve our national team. I'm happy. Of course, we have that possibility for play against Algeria and do that camping with the players because you need to work, of course, for you improve our national team. I repeat, I want to win the next AFCON. For that, you need to improve our national team. Introduce dynamics, introduce model, introduce organization inside and outside the field. You need to create connection with the players. You need to create connection with our ideas. You need to know better other players. You call, I think, from the first call until now, come new 9 players. Is the good job. I like that job. I don't need that job. We need the create relationship inside and outside the field with the players for build a great national team. That is our goal. Yes, I am liking well. I'm liking too much. When they come, I do one meeting for create that responsibility. Of course, they come. They come with happiness. They come and enjoy our work, but at the same time, they must put in the maximum responsibility and the focus in our job. It's not easy build one team in national team, build one good organization in one national team, because we have too much time. It's different in one club, because we have time for improve all the moments of the game, all the connection with the team. Here we have too much time. For that, I demand the maximum responsibility for the players, put the focus and put the maximum in the training, not only the training, outside the training, the relationship in them, in the meals, in the travels, in the meeting rooms, in the room, in the collective meetings, in the individual meetings, in the training, in the game. They must put 100% from them. A massive concentration, massive focus. At the same time, they must enjoy, because I want for play well, you must enjoy. But the main point, you must go for the training and for all the activities in the national team. Only 10 days, the maximum focus, for you can improve the collective process.
Welcome back. And Austin, we listened to him. I have my views. Outside football, I like listening to him. I like his energy. I like his passion. But he wasn't employed for his energy. He wasn't employed for his passion. He's employed for his football knowledge. And I hope that translates into wins and victories for Nigeria. Let's bring Tofe into it. I mean, you said Tofe should listen and tell us a thing or two. So, Tofe, you listen to our coach, Jose Peseiro. What do you make of some of the things he said? I mean, the basics, yeah, those are the things you expect from your players. So how does that come off?
Well, to be honest, everything he said makes a lot of sense. He was talking a lot about the connection. He was talking about the relationship. These are just mental attributes that, the players that need to have. He's not talking about talent right now or abilities or form. He's just talking about, trying to have cohesion within the team, talking about the togetherness and trying to build a team step by step, And it's very important. It's very vital. It sounds like a normal, like you read it from a book, but it's very important that, the players try to focus and listen to what he's talking about right now, because the togetherness is what brings the quality out, and then we can make results. So I see he's just trying to get solidarity. He's just trying to get a team together. And I think he made a good speech if they really understand the level that he's trying to operate at.
Okay, let me throw this in. I'll yield the floor to Austin after that. How do we avoid the pitfalls, the things that easily plague us in Nigerian football with our national teams? We say we are building, next thing we're back to zero. We obviously don't want that with Peseiro. So what are the things that maybe the NFF or the coach should do that if truly we are building now, we don't come back 2 years down the line and say we're still building?
To be honest with you, we were on the show, just before the World Cup qualifications and all, and we were all optimistic about the team, and we were sure that we were going to win. We had a good vibe, but I'm a bit now I want to be a bit more ruthless with my analysis as well. The Super Eagles let me down personally, not making it to the World Cup. I think this coach needs to, if he goes to check the track record, we need to try to focus on the professionalism around the squad. And to take things seriously as well. And we need to also focus on teamwork and respect. So I think these are the most important things we need to focus on now, because all these players, the Chukwuezes and the Simon Moses and all those big names and all, they're all good players individually. And also they play very well in their club side. But the national team is a high level. It's a very high level. And when you come, you need to be serious. You need to be your brother's keeper. You need to pass the ball when you have to pass the ball. You need to play to the coach's instruction. And I see that the Super Eagles, over the last couple of years, a lot of young players that don't understand what it means to wear the jersey of a Nigerian team. They want to play football. They want to give their best, but they don't understand how they need to be professional. And they've not really come together as a team. So we really need to start focusing on players that are going to play for the team rather than for themselves. And if we have some big players, even in Bayern Munich or Barcelona, and they can't play as a team, then I don't think we need to call them up anymore. I don't think we should waste our time, calling players up. I'm not going to mention names now, but we don't need to start calling some players up that we all know are not fully committed to the team and don't understand what it means, the national team, to hold the jersey. It's painful because there's a lot of Nigerians that they're angry, about the situation in the country and everything else, when these guys think that it's just another training or just another game, and it's not. We really need players that are focused and ready to fight, ready to listen in the analysis room, just like the coach said, ready to listen even on the pitch, on training, that are ready. We don't need players that just came from their clubs with big names and came to wear fashion clothes or whatever. We don't need that anymore. We need to win.
All right.
I love.
Let me go to Austin. Austin, let me just say something to you before you go to Tofe. He read my mind. Some of the things the average football fan, that's just the way we feel. But do you think in Peseiro we have a manager who can talk to any player, make any player in that squad do what he wants? Because when you start to read about the things that happened under the former manager, allegations not confirmed about how he had to beg some players, play in certain positions. It's sad when you hear that. And you remember the other time, before that Ghana game, we talked about it. We even asked the media officer, some of these guys don't understand what it means to play for the Super Eagles. When we say Ghana, to them it's just another game. For me, when you say Ghana, it's not just another game. And I'm very sure the average football fan sees it that way. So what are the things we need to do to change all of that? Tofe said it was going to be ruthless. I thought it was even more than ruthless. I hope the administrators are listening.
Tofe can be ruthless as an analyst. Austin as a co-presenter, I'll just try to be in the middle, I just, say the right things. Jose Pizarro needs to be everything you just talked about, particularly a very disciplined coach. Remember I told you he came to meet a scattered team. He came to meet a team that is hurting. So he has to be more than a coach. He has to bring everything into his psychology, father figure, skills, expertise, everything to get the Super Eagles running again. And that's why I want to go back to Tofe, because Tofe talks about some of the things that he expects from the players now. Tofe, those things that you want to see from the players, particularly hunger, to play with national pride and glory. What role can coaching play to help those players achieve what you want?
Well, generally, from my experience, I think I've been around for a bit now. I think the coach needs to be very serious with them. I think he talked about in the beginning, on his speech, he talked about, him being happy that they're coming in good spirits and all, but I think he needs to put his foot down. And I think he needs to be very firm with them if he wants to get results. I think from the beginning, he needs to think about it from his call-ups. Because when you want to sign players in a football club, they don't just sign players just like that. They also check about what kind of player is he? How does he relate with other people? Is he professional? They check these things. So when we want to call players up for the national team, in my opinion, we need to make sure that we know how he relates. We need to talk to the coaches. We need to talk to the club. We need to understand what kind of family background they have. We need to understand many things. Because we can't just call up a player who's just scoring against Real Madrid and scoring all the goals everywhere, but not knowing how to play with the team. If a player then understands that he's not been called to the national team for a while, and he's now wondering why, and he now understands because of his discipline, then he can understand that he needs to take things seriously. The Nigerian national team or any national team is serious business, and we really need to try to focus on that. So I think the coach needs to focus on his discipline and try to get that down from the very beginning. And I think Gennett Road tried to do that when he came at the beginning as well. And this coach has to focus on that. He has to focus on discipline. There's nothing more, because tactics, discipline, and just trying to get the results, in my opinion.
So for you're close to some of these players, and you're matching player analysts. When you look at this current Super Eagles team, do they lack discipline?
No, I'm not going to say that they lack discipline. Let's be more specific. Generally, most players within the national team right now, they're respectful people, but they also choose when they want to be respectful. Sometimes we have some quality players, but when they see other players that they feel like they're better than, and those players have been playing in their position for a while, then they start to have attitude. This is what I'm trying to talk about. Because when you see a big player, take for instance, Odion Igalo, a very big player, you could see the way Osimhen respected him all the way until he eventually, eased out to the team a little bit. and we need to see that coming because a lot of young players don't want to respect the players that were there before. They feel like they've arrived now, and those players are now, not important anymore. So these are the things I'm talking about. Within the players, within themselves, they need to respect themselves. The ones that are outgoing need to respect the ones that are incoming, and vice versa. So these are things that the players need to work within themselves rather than the competition that they have. Looking at each other's and trying to play some fast ones on each other, like on the pitch or even outside the pitch. The cohesion and the understanding, the harmony of the team. The harmony of the national team is more important than the harmony in the club side because there's only 3 or 4 days before the match. It's very important.
Toffa, let's go to the friendly game against Algeria before we wrap this up. With everything we've talked about, particularly the things you talked about, what are expectations? How do you want them to approach that match against Algeria?
Well, from what I've seen with the coach, he likes to be expressive. He likes to play attacking football. I'm expecting that we're going to go for it. There's no tactics here. There's no point of trying to play safe here. It's a friendly match. He needs to see his players. He needs to try his attacking abilities of his players. And I think he just needs to get a good balance in the midfield. We're going to miss Wilfred Ndidi as well, but I think he needs to balance it well. Alex Iwobi is in great form. He's also been mentioned recently in the Premier League Players of the Month in the top 5, and he's going for that. He's going for that as well. Murphy has scored 6 goals, and the Bassi guy is playing well at defense as well. I'd like to see also Chidozie Awaziem, play, personally. I think he's come of light to try to see how he could, because he takes the ball out of the defense very well. I'd like to see how he could start to play, and because he's doing well in Croatia. So I think it's exciting. I mean, it's more chance to see players. Lookman, who disappointed me gravely in the World Cup qualifiers. He started the season well in Serie A. But, these are the things that the coach needs to understand. And the previous coach, Austin Eguavon as well. You can't play players like Lookman and Bassi that have come that on their debut in a match where, we need to win in an African qualifiers. And then he goes on back to his club side, and they're shining, and they say, look, they're shining in the club side, but you have to understand these things. If it was at the World Cup and you want to start Lookman and Bassi, directly against like an international team on an international stage, then that's fine. But we had players like Tony Wankame, who was playing very well in Turkey, a physical player that would be able to battle the Ghanaian defense. We need to look at those type of players. So it's very important we know what kind of players can play what type of matches. So this is a friendly match now. He needs to see his players. He needs to see everyone. But Lookman now, I would like to see him. He's been playing really well in Serie A. All credit to him. We have to praise players when they're doing well. So I think, it's going to be a good match. I'm expecting a good match.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we need to let Toffa go. He needs to cool off. I've not seen Toffa on fire this much as regards the Super Eagles. So if Toffa can be like this, then I tell you, Nigerians are yet to move on from not qualifying for the World Cup. Toffa, thank you so much for your time. Always a delight to have you on the show.
Thank you, Austin. See you.
All right, so that's it. Match and player analyst Toffa Towabola speaking to us from Istanbul in Turkey. Yemi, it is what it is. It's going to be very difficult to forget this World Cup that Nigeria didn't qualify for. And that's why I said there's so much expectation. If Nigeria is playing Channel's TV team, Nigerians expect the Super Eagles to win.
That's the point. It feels sad for, look, first we're Nigerians. We have a job to do, but we're Nigerians. And, it feels sad if some things are recurring. You read about issues of discipline, you read about issues in the team that you felt since we didn't qualify for the World Cup, these things shouldn't be happening again. You see the NFF, same approach, and you're asking yourself, where exactly are we going? You talk about having a base for the team, which is ensuring that football on the domestic scene is fine. I'm not even calling for anybody on the domestic scene to be in the team right now, but that's another area that needs to be right. So it does appear like we're doing the same things, but hopefully we'll get it right and things will work for us in Nigeria because it has to. Football, Toffa mentioned it, football heals a lot of wounds. football covers a lot of things. And once we get it right for football, sometimes some of the things can be overlooked. But I guess we have to move on from that. Let's talk about football and club football. That's an area where even the most passionate supporter of the NFF will not give them a pass mark. It's hard to give anybody, NFF, sports ministry, whatever is happening on the domestic scene, it's not good at all. And when we bring these teams to the continent, it's like we've planned for them to fail already. Because issues like logistics and other things, we mess it up. And you were very, very optimistic the other time we spoke. And October 9 is when we're going to see Rivers United up against Wydad. Let me throw this at you quickly. Are you still as optimistic as you were on Tuesday?
Yeah, I need to be. I need to be. I'm an advocate of league football in Nigeria. I like what Rivers United did this season to emerge champions. They were admirable. They showed that they've got quality. I also like the way they, solve Watanga FC of Liberia. And they're getting all the support that they need from the Rivers State government. They've got professional players. So that's the approach they should take. As they prepare for Wydad Casablanca. Yes, Wydad comes with a lot of pedigree, with a lot of experience, with a lot of quality. But hey, Yemi, it's football where anything can happen. So I'm not going to take off Rivers United before they play the match. It's October 9th. The date has been fixed. The players are getting ready. The coaches are doing their part. You mentioned some of the things that has, made our football not look admirable. We need to correct those things so that when we go to the continent, we can look a bit good, And I think Rivers United, they're doing their own bits to be that. So they now know it's Wydad. It cannot be changed. They need to prepare to be able to beat Wydad. So I will keep my optimism. Maybe that's what Rivers United, if they are watching, I have some players in the team that are my friends. They can say, Austin has so much confidence in us. So they can use that to take on Wydad. And I love the fact that they're playing at home. So give everything you have at home. I know that you're traveling away now to, sing the joyful music when you're coming back. So it's all up on them, Yemi, but I think they've got equal chances. Rivers United have shown in the last 3 years, if you take a look at their consistency, that they can compete at the highest level. But you know what we always say about that 70% that gives you victory before you get on the pitch. They need to do that. The players need to play with a unity of purpose, understand the mission, and why not? Why not?
All right. Your optimism is noted. And hopefully, hopefully it turns out good for Rivers United. Let's give our viewers match details. Let's do that quickly. October 9 is when that game will be played. I'm very sure it's going to come up on the screen at the Adoke Amesimaka. That's it right there at the Adoke Amesimaka Stadium in Rivers State. The date is October 9. The time is 4 p.m. Again, Rivers United up against Wydad. Second round fixtures, qualifiers for the group stage, money spinning group stage of the CAF Champions League. All right, Austin, let's move on the show. It's time to talk about the Laver Cup. The tennis world is going to say bye-bye to... No, they're not saying bye-bye. Let me not put it that way. It sounds somehow. Roger Federer is going to drop his racket, but he's still going to be involved in tennis because it's said as much. But the most joyful thing to see is the fact that he got his desire. He's going to play along his biggest rival, Rafael Nadal, on the same side, not on opposite sides. They're going to be on the same side against the guys from the international team. And what a fitting way. That's the last time we're going to see Roger Federer in a competitive tennis game. We might see him in exhibition matches later, but this one is the last time, and it's going to be tomorrow. I'm very sure the world wants to enjoy it.
I know, and it's going to be legendary when he teams up with Rafael Nadal to play the doubles event. What else can we say about Roger Federer? We've said everything we want to say about him, how he has turned to be a fantastic role model for the sports. He's got a fantastic personality. He's someone that is easily loved. I've not heard anyone say something negative about Roger Federer. You definitely gonna love his mien, the style he uses to play tennis, the moment he created so much, So it will be emotional for Roger Federer, his fans, and everyone that will be at the courts where the Lever Cup will be played, because seeing Roger Federer saying goodbye to the game is difficult. Some of us grew up, watching Roger Federer, and he brought a lot of fans to tennis. Big model, and he has said he's not going. That's the good thing. He said he loves the sport so much that he's not leaving. So it will be good to see what's next for Roger Federer. I mean, just looking at him come out tomorrow, I'm sure some persons will get emotional. Tears will drop from the eyes of a lot of fans, but it's not goodbye because he'll keep doing the things he loves to do for tennis just for the love of the game.
All right, it's going to be the last time we're going to see the Big Four together. We showed it a while you were speaking, so let's just do it again on the screen. The schedule, day 1, day 2, day 3. Day 1 schedule, match 1, match 2, match 3, and the doubles game that is going to involve Roger Federer is what we're going to show to our viewers. That's it. Casper Ruud will be up against Jack Sock of the United States. Stefano Tsitsipas, match 2, up against Diego Schwartzman. And that's match 2 of the Lever Cup, Europe against the world. Andy Murray will be up against Alex de Minaur. And of course, Roger Federer and his friend and rival, Rafael Nadal, will be up against Francis Tiafoe and Jack Sock. All right, so these are the things to expect. The schedule for day 1. Let's remind our viewers that Europe has always dominated the Lever Cup. It's a star-studded Europe team. Whether or not that will continue, we'll see. Let's quickly listen to the Swiss maestro himself, Roger Federer, speaking ahead of his participation in the Lever Cup. And we'll come back for more on Sports Tonight.
Super excited to have them on our team, on my team, and not having to play against them on my last match. And of course, it's super special. Playing with Rafa feels really different, also just walking out on court and having the chance to play with the likes of Rafa or Novak also in the past has been an amazing experience for me. So to be able to do that one more time, I'm sure it's going to be wonderful. Like I said, I'll try my very best. Hope to be good out there, and of course I'll enjoy it, but it will be hard.
After all the amazing things that we shared together on and off court, be part of this historic moment. Gonna be something, amazing, unforgettable for me. Super excited. I hope I can have a good chance to play at a decent level, and hopefully together we can create a good moment and maybe win a match. So let's see. But I hope the crowd will be supporting a lot, and super excited to be here with the team, and of course be on court, having Roger next to me one more time will be something that I am very looking for. So just very happy for that.
All right, that's it. Rafael Nadal and the Swiss maestro himself. And I'm looking at the younger guys beside him. I'm very sure they are envious of the kind of relationship and the rivalry that Roger Federer and Rafael Nadal that they have. We're going to miss seeing such in tennis.
Yeah, and that's what they should pick. They should pick the vital lessons that sometimes it's not win at all cost, Despite the rivalry, you could see that there's mutual respect between Roger Federer, Rafa Nadal, and even to an extent, if you put in Andy Murray and Novak Djokovic, a great show of sportsmanship, and that's what we always preach. That the game is fair play. And if you listen to Nadal and the way he struggled to talk about Roger Federer, you could tell that he was trying not to be emotional, because this is someone that has, if you take a look at Rafa Nadal's, career, you could tell that Roger Federer was also, an important part of the success story. Because when you're competitive, what you do to your opponent is that you push them to get better. And that's why that era, it's difficult for us to stop talking about them because it was healthy rivalry. And that's what we love, and that's why tennis, grew to the stage where we have it now with the men's category. So it'll be good to see Rafa Nadal and Roger Federer play alongside each other. And he said it would be good to see them win a match also. So we're looking forward to the Lever Cup tomorrow.
Yeah, it's going to be good to see them win. All right, our parting shot on the show tonight, it's going to be the UEFA Nations League. Let's see some of the results. Some of the matches wrapping up by now. So let's give you the results. Interesting matches played. Croatia and Denmark 2-1. France at halftime was goalless, but France has been able to put 2 goals past Austria. Belgium and Wales, of course, goals from Michy Batshuayi, Kevin De Bruyne for Belgium. The Netherlands up against Robert Lewandowski's Poland. Of course, it's 2-0. Lithuania and the Faroe Islands, it's a goal apiece in this game. All right. Austin, piece of news from that France game, not too good. Not too good. All of those results, the full-time results, Jules Kande injured. And the injuries keep piling up for France. They're on a mission to successfully defend their title. We've not seen anybody do that in recent times. Brazil did it times past. But France, your thoughts?
That's first good win for them. Kylian Mbappe and Olivier Giroud with a goal and to give them a 2-0 win. That's what we mentioned when we talked about the Super Eagles. Wilfred Ndidi injured, but the show must go on, and particularly when we're talking about France, defending champions, stars everywhere. So 1 player, 2 players, even 3 players out, then they need to find a way to reshuffle. But it's quite worrisome when key players are getting injured in a team because it disrupts, the players, the coaches, plans, strategy and tactics. So let's just wish Kande all the best, recover on time and see if he can make it for the World Cup.
All right, before we go, I'm still tempted to push you a little about France. 6 key players. Hugo Lloris, Hernandez, Paul Pogba, Jules Koundé now, a couple of other guys too in the mix. It looks like Didier Deschamps is going to grow more white hair.
But I'm sure that they've got backup plans. It's just like clubs. Yeah, I mean, when you see the first team players, you admire them. You don't know what they have in the team B. And for a team like Arsenal, for instance, you hear the reserve team saying that they can do almost as good as the first team. So I'm sure Didier Deschamps and his technical crew, they are looking at how they can, solve this problem before the World Cup. If major players are injured, you must find a way to bring in players who quickly fit into the team. There are some players who just wanted to take a chance, because this is a star-studded, French team. You have an opportunity to get into it. You must take the opportunity. So I agree with you. Didier Deschamps will be, itching his head and saying, what's going on? November is just around the corner and this is happening. So, but it is what it is. He needs to find a way out of it. But it's sweet trouble, if you ask me, because, this is France. The talent.
All right.
Come on.
All right. I'll say we got to go.
Gotta go. I had so much fun on the show tonight. Shout out to Tofeto Obola. We pushed him to the point that he started losing it as regards the Super Eagles. It was a good time. That's the show. Remember to keep the conversation going on Twitter. We're channels_sports. In London, I'm Austin Okonakman. In everything you do, remember, keep talking sports. Bye for now.
All right, that's the show today. We do hope that you've enjoyed everything we've been able to bring to you. We'll be back again tomorrow for the last edition of the show for the week. From the city of Lagos right here in Nigeria, I'm Yemi Adebayo saying bye-bye.